2025 NFL Draft coverage on Keon Sports is brought to you by Chatty's Pizzeria, the home of Night 2 of the Keon Sports Live NFL Draft Show on Friday, April 25th. In the heart of Bay Village, at 28611 Lake Road, this incredible pizzeria offers a full menu of food and drinks. They have everything from a casual dining experience to the romantic setting of a long-awaited date night. Their food is made on the spot with fresh ingredients and classic recipes that the entire family will enjoy. From a cozy spot in the igloo to the party room, everyone will be taken care of. Call 440-471-4485. That's 440-471-4485. Or email info@Chatty's Pizzeria for reservations for the upcoming prime rib night. North Olmsted Sportsman Club. They offer a little bit of everything that the true outdoor sportsman would enjoy. At NOSC, memberships are open to everyone from novice to master. For those just starting, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources sponsors several adult and junior programs open to the public at NOSC. Everything is provided free of charge, including equipment, ammo, and targets. Also, don't forget Ladies' Night. Find out more about one of North Olmsted's oldest and most prestigious clubs at North Olmsted Sportsman's Club. Cement Mason Local 404 Union. Whether you are an experienced journeyman or an apprentice, their doors are open for you to join the union. Current and future demand for skilled craftsmen necessitates an apprenticeship program that takes into consideration practices of one of the world's oldest trades, along with instruction in new techniques, applications, technologies, and materials. The Local 404 Cement Masons Joint Apprenticeship and Training Program, JATC, supports a world-class curriculum of instruction and on-the-job training for more than 40 apprentices annually. Union Cement Mason skills are honed with the most comprehensive apprenticeship training program in the industry. And JBL Roofing and Construction, with 25 plus years of excellence in roofing and construction, this family-owned and trusted company is your first choice in roofing needs. Experience the difference with JBL Roofing and Construction. You can find out more about them at jblrc.com. Welcome back for day 2 of 2025 NFL Draft Prospect Evaluations here on the Keon Sports YouTube channel. I'm Cole McDaniel. Appreciate you joining me once again. Well, the episode yesterday, the first one for this year, was about a pretty weak quarterback class overall. Still some potential sleepers who could be good players in the NFL, might be long-term backups. It's just a matter of hard to tell until they get into the situation, and we see what happens with the starters in front of them. But we do know that one guy seems to stand alone. The likely number 1 overall pick in this draft, Cam Ward, probably going to be a Titans player who turns into their franchise quarterback and is there long term. It'd be hard to believe that with the ceiling that he has, the ability that he has. I think he's an excellent prospect. But that class overall for the quarterbacks is very different from what we're going to talk about today with the running backs. A ton of talented running backs if you've already read the article and worked your way up to number 3. For those who are Ohio State fans and see that TreVeyon Henderson is at number 4 for me, he's just barely on the outside, and maybe his injury issues are the only thing keeping him outside of this top 3. In most other classes, there's a good chance that TreVeyon Henderson is number 2, number 3. But in this class, he's number 4 for me, and we'll dive into who's number 3, who's number 2, who's number 1, and I think everybody can guess probably who is number 1 in this class. But let's get things going. At number 3, sticking in the Big Ten, so we go from Ohio State at number 4 to now starting off this video with the top 3 in the announcements. It's Iowa's Caleb Johnson. Johnson might not be nearly as explosive as TreVeyon Henderson, number 4 on the list. However, he is a true workhorse running back with size, speed, excellent vision, and burst. His acceleration is impressive for a runner of his style. Johnson always manages to fall forward and is one of the most decisive runners in this class. I like his versatility, enough to run out of several different schemes, and he can also shoulder a fairly heavy workload. He's a plus blocker. He breaks tackles all the time when he has the football in his hands. He can make an impact in the screen game as well. His long speed might not be elite, and he occasionally does miss some cutback lanes because he's so decisive and wants to get north and south. His route tree is fairly basic due to Iowa's offensive system, and he needs work on running with his pad level a little bit lower through traffic because naturally he gets a little bit more vertical in the way that he runs. If he can stand stronger versus big defenders in pass protection, then he might nearly be a complete back. Very close to it. A lot of great skills, and like I said, I believe that he can be a starter for a team who maybe doesn't have the most deep running back room, and he can really carry that workload, which would be excellent for several teams that I'm going to mention in a few moments. My player comparisons for him, I see Joe Mixon, I see that physicality, the desire to get north and south, and the ability to consistently pick up positive yardage. And some Trey Benson. Benson hasn't necessarily had the opportunities quite yet with the Cardinals. He's the backup behind James Conner, but I really believed in him in the last class. I still think there's a lot of potential for Trey Benson to be a starting running back and be very good in the league. Just didn't necessarily have the opportunity to get the carries, the touches that I would have liked to have seen last year. Time will tell what happens with him. But that explosiveness in space, the physicality, the ability to get north and south, very similar, like both of those two running backs. My projection for Johnson, I could see him sneaking into the late first round. I doubt he's going to be a first round pick, probably going to be more like second round or early third round though. My best fits for him, the New England Patriots, Ramondre Stevenson's still there. Caleb Johnson might have some similarities to him, but Stevenson might not necessarily be the long-term answer for them. He's had some productive times, but I think Johnson actually then with his ceiling and then his younger legs and less of a workload at this point, I think he could be a really nice next step for the future for them. The Pittsburgh Steelers, he could go from the black and gold of Iowa to the black and gold of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They could use a physical running back. Najee Harris no longer there. And Najee was not a decisive runner. For his size, he did a lot of dancing east and west. I didn't care for that. I said, use your size, use your speed, just get north and south. Johnson's the complete opposite. He's so decisive. Steelers fans would love him. The Las Vegas Raiders, they may have one of the worst running back rooms currently in the NFL. They need a true workhorse. This would be their guy. And my wild card's the San Francisco 49ers. Christian McCaffrey, he's been pretty healthy for the most part with the San Francisco 49ers until this past year. But you never know with McCaffrey. As good as he is, how much more time does he have left in the NFL? How much more time does he have being an extremely productive top running back when he's on the field? It's time to think about at least somebody who can come in and pack a punch and bring some power. Because McCaffrey's so good on third downs, just good as a pass catcher. He has that explosiveness. They could be a nice 1-2 punch, but you also have to think about the potential of times after McCaffrey. At number 2, well, Johnson split the difference between the two-headed monster from Ohio State. Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State comes in at number 2 on my list. He is the smash part of Ohio State's smash and dash combo from 2024 that helped lead the Buckeyes to a national championship run and ultimately the first national championship in the new 12-team playoff. Judkins is one of the most productive college running backs in recent times. He amassed 2,500 rushing yards in his first 2 years at Ole Miss. Then he was able to protect himself by splitting carries with Henderson for 1 year by transferring to the Buckeyes. Probably the best financial decision, or at least one of the best financial decisions that Judkins will ever make in his football career. Because he probably, in addition to, getting some sponsorship money, and I'm sure some NIL cash coming to Ohio State, he probably preserved his NFL shelf life for, I would estimate, at least 2 years. just because he was getting so much work at Ole Miss, it's hard to be run into the ground like that and not pick up injuries or start to wear down. So splitting with Henderson kept him healthy, and I think really probably preserved his legs, and I think NFL's teams are going to like that. He's a tough runner, a natural workhorse. On first and second down, he is a star with short yardage skill. I like his burst and acceleration, but he's great as a power runner, and he always fights for extra yards. His contact balance is elite. There's plenty of vision, and there's patience in the way that he runs. Keeps his pad level low, and really seeks out contact with defenders. He is fearless. The only issues for him, the lack of long speed, and sometimes there are some missed opportunities for him because he's trying to seek contact that he could just hit a lane to maybe bounce back or bounce to the outside. But needless to say, not the biggest issue there with him. I think the big thing for him is that he does have some room to improve as a receiver. That would make him more valuable on third down. Right now, I see him mainly as a first and second down guy in a 1-2 punch, but if he can round out that receiving ability, he is a true every down back. Really, he should probably be in the top 3 of everybody's running back draft board, but in such a tough class, it's hard to make it into that top 3. Everybody has their different opinions, but I really believe that Judkins is going to be a sure thing in the NFL to be successful and be productive. My player comparisons for him: David Montgomery. I think in short yardage situations, Judkins has that type of mentality, that type of running style. Maybe the build's not quite the same, but they're both pretty physical running backs. And Montgomery is part of one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL with Jahmyr Gibbs. And Kendre Miller. So Kendre Miller was a good prospect coming out of TCU. He had that ACL tear, so the injury that had him down my draft board just a little bit, but I like the physicality, the way that he ran, and Judkins, he has somewhat of that similar style. My projection for him is a mid-first to second round pick, and the best fits, the Raiders, they need that go-to guy. He could be that. The Chicago Bears, they could use a first and second down player because DeAndre Swift, I think, might actually be better as the second guy in a 1-2 punch at this point in his career. So I'd like to see that complement. The Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb's days are not necessarily completely numbered, but he's not going to be the running back that he was before. He could be a good running back, potentially serviceable. Regardless of what they do at the running back position, Jerome Ford needs to be the third down back. He needs to be that second guy. And Judkins, he can handle that workload and be the guy on first and second. And my wild card is the New Orleans Saints, where Miller is. I think that the Saints, though, could use a guy to be the one carrying the rock for after Alvin Kamara, and we'll see how much more time he has on his shelf life. At number 1, the consensus number 1 at running back, Ashton Jeanty, Boise State. He's a generational running back and a top 3 prospect in this entire class. The compact workhorse running back looks intimidating while standing straight up in the backfield prior to the snap. Such a unique style with his stance, but it works because immediately as soon as he touches that ball, his great burst, good open field speed, elite contact balance, and the way that he sheds tackles with ease, it just pops off the screen when you watch film. He showcases some elite vision and anticipation as a runner, while also falling forward practically every single time he's contacted. He's a weapon as a receiver, and will without a doubt be a big playmaker for the team that drafts him. I expect a ton of touchdowns right away with the right team. Even though he's undersized and his route tree is a bit minimal at the moment, it's not a big knock on Jeanty because he's so good. He's so productive, and I think that has the power and has the strength despite the compact build. He did have some lapses in ball security due to trying to make some things happen at Boise State. I think that's something that he could shore up in the NFL. And his heavy workload in college would be a concern for most running backs, but just because he's built different, he's just a rare breed, a rare talent. I think that most NFL teams are definitely willing to overlook that because they know they're at least going to get a really strong couple years in that rookie contract out of him, and then even potentially beyond that as well. NFL teams and fantasy football players will both be coveting Jeanty here in the very near future. My player comparisons for him, Kyren Williams and Kenneth Walker III, both compact running backs who I think are explosive. They have plenty of physicality, some receiving skills out of the backfield, but I think that Jeanty's ceiling is potentially better than both of them. Of course, Williams, he really popped off in the NFL, not being quite as high of a prospect as what Kenneth Walker was. Needless to say, Jeanty has the higher ceiling than both of them, is even higher when it comes to the prospect rankings than where these two would have been in their respective classes, but both are good starters for their teams. He's a top 15 pick in this draft, very well could go top 10, probably should go top 10, but running backs, sometimes it takes a little bit more time for them to come off the board, but this isn't going to be the draft where you don't see a running back in the first round. You're going to see Jeanty at minimum, if not a few. Best fits for him, the Bears, same reasons as Judkins. The Broncos, I think the Broncos could really use a true workhorse back who is the natural starter. I don't think they yet have that on their current roster. I don't think Audric Estime is the guy. So Jeanty would give them that. The Pittsburgh Steelers, if you have Jeanty and Jaylen Warren, I think you're cooking with gas. You got something really good there. Plus, you have Kenneth Gainwell, which only adds a little bit more to that roster. And then my wild card is the Cleveland Browns. I don't think they're going to necessarily trade back from 2 and take him, but it is certainly an option if they decided that they wanted to. They could use his services. It'd be impressive to go from Nick Chubb to Ashton Jeanty, and then Jerome Ford would be a nice compliment for him. That does it for the running backs. Next time is the wide receivers. So again, a lot more coming your way. But hope you enjoyed the top 3 for this running back class. And as always, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Turn the notifications on. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.